A fundraiser to come up with the capital to pay off Mayor Nenshi's $300,000 legal bill resulting from a defamation suit filed in 2013 is looking more and more like a veiled election campaign than anything, and more like the government's friends helping their friends in the government. Donors can contribute up to $10,000 and will receive a charitable tax receipt, and so far over $200,000 has been raised. The mayor racked up the fees for a lawsuit filed by businessman and home builder Cal Wenzel after he called Wenzel the godfather and accused him of meddling in the city's politics when a video surfaced of the businessman addressing around 150 home builders and colleagues about the 2013 election. In Nenshi's defense statement, it was alleged that Wenzel violated election laws when he discussed ways to exceed the $5,000 donation limit for municipal candidates. The suit was settled out of court in 2015, but Nenshi's bill still remains. Council voted that the city should pay the bill, but that the mayor should pay it back eventually. Hence the fundraiser put on by Nenshi's pals. Calgary businessman Dean Kohler is heading up the committee to raise funds because he says it's just not fair for the mayor to have to foot the bill. Really now? It's okay for our politicians to make stupid remarks that put taxpayers on the line to pay their legal bills and we should feel sorry for them? Sounds more like lowering the bar for friends and excusing and encouraging bad behavior from favored politicians to me. Nenshi's not allowed to be involved in the fundraising procedure, but a quick look at the fundraising committee roster shows that at least 2 members have or have had ties to the city. This one is absolutely outrageous. Irfan Raji is a member of the Calgary 2026 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Bid Exploration Committee. It's a volunteer position, but it raises the question as to whether the mayor stacked that panel with his friends to make decisions on how the city will potentially spend billions of dollars. This is a publicly funded exercise. Actually, it's costing $5 million to pay for it in order to decide whether the city should host another Winter Olympics. And now he's on this fundraising committee to raise the money to pay the mayor's legal bills. Colin Jackson is also the former president of Calgary's Arts Commons. So I decided to look into the Arts Commons, and of course, they receive government funding, including from the city. So this looks more like a case of I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Here it says right on the Arts Commons webpage for anyone to see. Through the City of Calgary Civic Partner Support, Arts Commons has been able to contribute to the artistic, recreational, and cultural choices available to Calgarians by developing a broad scope of programs and initiatives that enhance the long-term sustainability of the arts. How much money they receive is another question. Nenshi has been a special guest at fundraisers. Kohler himself has attended several of Nenshi's events. It's right on his Twitter, including this event hosted by Arts Commons. And look at all these tweets that go back as far as 2011 that make him sound more like a fan at a Backstreet Boys concert than anything. Here he talks about how great Nenshi looks riding a horse, and here he talks about how the mayor has made public debate cool again, and here he talks about sleeping better at night knowing Nenshi will be at the helm at City Hall. Are you kidding me? City Council's bad spending habits are actually the stuff of nightmares if you ask me. You know, I guess the mainstream media who actually reported on these guys just forgot to look into who they are or something. How can you possibly say that these guys aren't political allies and don't have a friendly relationship? They're all connected through other ventures. It looks like Nenshi is doing favors for his political friends, especially when the Calgary Arts Commons has been on Nenshi's gravy train for years and Jackson was once the president. None of this is illegal, but it sure looks unethical. And back to these charitable tax receipts. They're being given by the city because the money raised is going to fund municipal services, and donors are still allowed to pitch in the maximum $5,000 to Nenshi's election campaign, which, including the $10,000, is 3 times the amount that any other candidate can accept annually. So I guess paying lawyers to defend a mayor for saying stupid and careless things counts as a public service now. A list of donors that have given over $100 will also be made, so this is a huge perk for Nenshi. Not only will people get a tax break, but he gets his lawsuit paid off and a neatly packed up campaign list to target his loyalists for the upcoming municipal election this year. No other candidate gets these perks, so why should Nenshi? Nenshi excuses the tax receipts away by clarifying that this is a provincial and federal tax receipt. And what's more is that the city's ethics advisor, Alice Woolley, recommended a deadline of the end of 2016 as reasonable to pay the funds back. They still haven't been paid back. And at the last update, over 90 grand is still owing. Nenshi will have to pay back the balance that isn't raised but can accept money from family and friends. Kohler counters that the fundraiser didn't start up until November of 2016, but this is pretty rich of him considering Calgarians are expected to pay their city bills on time or they're issued heavy penalties and late charges. I did email Kohler to ask him about fundraising committee members having conflicts of interest, and he tells me there are none and that no member benefits from being on the committee. He says that they believe what they're doing is the right thing. Look, I don't have a problem with people raising money for the mayor's legal bills. Anything that keeps taxpayers from taking this on is a good thing. But like I said, this isn't illegal, but it looks unethical, and people are getting tax breaks for contributing. And another thing is, if the balance isn't paid by the fundraisers, we still pay Nenshi's salary, so it will still be taxpayer funded if it comes out of his own pocket. Any way you look at this, it's a win-win for Nenshi and his pals, and it looks just terrible. His legal bills get paid, his supporters get a tax break, and Nenshi comes out with a list of people that donated that he can use to campaign with for the election. The only question left is, what are his friends expecting in return? For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, make sure to hit the button to subscribe to our Rebel Canada YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our latest.